welcome to my Holy Priest guide for Mock Classic. What I will be talking about today are the different tier set bonuses throughout the expansion, talents, glyphs, abilities, stats, the Holy Priest changes added in Mock Classic, as well as your rotation. This isn't really part of the guide, but something I have to mention is how well Holy Priest is performing this phase. These are statistics from Warcraft logs. These are the changes they added for Mock Classic. I am a little disappointed that they decreased the healing done by Divine Hymn by 35%, but it does make sense. Most of my Divine Hymn healing is overheal anyway because it just heals for so much. Moving on to the tier sets. The tier 14 set bonuses are what we have currently. The 2-piece is beneficial, but it isn't amazing since we rarely cast Flash Heal. 4-piece is great. The circle healing CD is reduced to 6 seconds in Serenity/Chastise chakras, and down to 4 seconds in Sanctuary. The tier 15 set bonuses are released in Throne of Thunder. The 2-piece will be a nice buff since Prayer Mending does a lot of healing already. The 2-piece could pair well with the Prayer Mending glyph if we were to heal an additional 10% off that first 60% increase. So for example, if the base heal was 100, with the glyph it would heal 160 on the first heal. With the 2-piece, the next heal would heal for 176 instead of 110, though I highly doubt it'll actually work this way, but I did think it was worth mentioning in case it did. The 4-piece will definitely be a good HPS increase. It is similar to the Firelands tier 12 4-piece, but it probably won't proc as much since it only procs up circle healing for this tier. The tier 16 set bonuses are released in Siege of Orgrimmar. The 2-piece will work well with From Darkness Comes Light. It is definitely a good HPS increase since it is doubling the healing down with Greater Heal and Prayer Healing with max Serendipity stacks. I am really excited for the 4-piece. With max stacks, Holy Word Serenity will heal for 99% more, Holy Word Chastise will damage for 99% more, and Holy Word Sanctuary will heal for 225% more. I wonder if you will be able to pre-stack this before pull. Moving on to the talents, the spec you will generally use is this. Of course you can swap around the tier 1, 2, and 3 talents to your preference. For tier 3, you will most likely use Mindbender for proc, but if your mana is in a good place, or the other talents are more beneficial for that fight, you can swap it around. For example, I've been using From Darkness Comes Light for fights like Sulong, or fights that I don't struggle with mana on as much anymore. Souls and Insanity is good for fights you have a damage buff on. For tier 5, Twist of Fate seems to be the best, but the other options are so good. It might be worth swapping to Divine Insight when we get 2-piece of the Throne of Thunder tier, though. The tier 6 talents are all really good. For most fights you will want to use Divine Star, but Halo and Cascade will still be used for other fights as well. Now onto the glyphs. These are the ones that I use for most fights. For certain fights I've swapped to other glyphs such as Renew, Master Spell, or Fade, but Prayer Mending, Purify, and Spirit of Redemption are other good options you may use. Moving on to the stats. Your stat priority is Intellect, Spirit, Crit, Mastery, and then finally Haste. You should still make sure that you are at the Haste breakpoint though. These are the Haste breakpoints. As far as I know, the first breakpoint is the only one we will be able to reach without gemming/reforging for haste and gaining temporary buffs. Mastery for Holy Priest adds a hot on targets we heal. It takes every 1 second for 6 seconds. Now moving on to the abilities, quite a few of the abilities I'm listing are regular priest abilities, but in case you are new to priest entirely, I'm still listing them. The main things about holy priests are the chakras. Chakra Sanctuary increases healing done with AoE abilities by 35%, granting Holy Word Sanctuary. Chakra Serenity increases healing done with single target abilities plus Renew by 35%, granting Holy Word Serenity. Chakra Chastise increases damage done with Shadow and Holy abilities by 50%, and reduces the mana cost of Holy Fire and Smite by 90%, which gives us the base Holy Word Chastise. Renew, Prayer Mending, Prayer Healing, Circle Healing, Flash Heal, Greater Heal, Binding Heal, Heal, Cascade, Divine Star, Halo, Holy Word Serenity, and Holy Word Sanctuary are your main healing abilities. Renew is a heal over time. It also has an initial heal. Prayer Mending is a heal that bounces between multiple targets when damage is taken and has a 10-second cooldown. Circle of Healing heals 5 to 6 targets instantly and has a 10-second base CD that varies between chakras. Flash Heal and Greater Heal are single target heals, but Greater Heal heals for more and has a longer cast time. Prayer Healing is a party-wide heal. Binding Heal heals you and your current target. Heal is a slow cast ability and is mana efficient. Holy Word Serenity is a single target heal that increases your crit chance on the target by 25% for 6 seconds and has a 10-second cooldown. Holy Word Sanctuary is an ability you place on the ground that heals all standing within it, and it lasts around 30 seconds. To my understanding, it scales with your haste and has a 40-second CD. Cascade bounces between targets, splitting into 2 bolts each time, and has a 25-second CD. Divine Star heals everyone in front of you and has a 15-second CD. And Halo heals everyone around you, doing more healing the further the target is from you, and has a 40-second cooldown. Divine Hymn, Lightwell, and Guardian Spear are your 3-minute cooldowns. Divine Hymn, a channeled ability, is a throughput raid CD that increases healing done on the target's heals by 10%. You place Lightwell on the ground, and it puts a haunt on nearby friendly targets below 50% health. Guardian Spear is a single target CD that increases healing done to the target by 60% and saves the target from a killing blow. Something I learned about Guardian Spear is that if you prayer mending or circle healing off the target with GS on them, the rest of those heals also get the 60% buff. Your mana return CDs are Shadow Fiend or Mindbender, depending on your spec, and Hymn of Hope. Shadow Fiend is a 3-minute CD, while Mindbender is a 1-minute CD. You attack a target to give you mana. Hymn of Hope is a channeled ability that increases your max mana by 15% and returns 2% mana to 3 nearby targets per tick, with a 6-minute cooldown. Void Shift is a 5-minute cooldown that swaps your health with your target. Leap of Faith grips another friendly player to you with a 1.5-minute cooldown. Desperate Prayer heals you for 30% of your max HP. It has a 2-minute cooldown. Angelic Feather gives an 80% movement speed increase that you can place on the floor. Powered Shield absorbs damage but also gives a 60% movement speed increase if you are specced into Body and Soul. Your raid buff is Powered Fortitude. It increases stamina by 10%. Inner Fire, Inner Will, and Power and Vision are your personal buffs. Inner Fire increases your armor by a base of 60% and spell power by 10%. Inner Will increases your movement speed by a base of 10% and reduces the mana cost to your instant cast by 15%. Power and Vision is a talent and increases your spell haste by 20%, damage by 5%, and also reduces the mana cost of all your abilities by 20% for 20 seconds with a 2-minute cooldown. Your dispels are Mass Dispel, Purify, and Dispel Magic. Mass Dispel dispels magic buffs or debuffs in an area. Purify cleanses diseases and magic debuffs from friendly targets, and Dispel Magic purges magic buffs from enemies. Your damaging abilities are Holy Fire or Powered Solace, Smite, Shadow Word Pain, Shadow Word Death, Mind Seer, and Holy Nova if you choose to use the glyph. Halo, Cascade, and Divine Star can also do damage. Holy Fire does initial damage but also puts a dot on the enemy. Powered Solace does the same, but it is like Atonement, so it heals. Smite is what you will be casting most of the time to do damage. Shadow Word Pain is a dot, but it does initial damage as well. Shadow Word Death is an execute ability that you can use when the target's below 20% health. It has an 8-second CD. Mind Seer is an AoE damage ability. Holy Nova does damage and healing to nearby targets around you. To reduce threat, you can Feign. If you have it glyphed, it also reduces damage taken by 10%. Some additional abilities are Psychic Scream, Fear Ward, Dominate Mind, Void Tendrils, Fiend, and Spectral Guise. Psychic Scream fears enemies around you for 8 seconds with a 30-second CD. Fear Ward causes the friendly target to be immune to one fear ability. Lasts 3 minutes or until the charge is used, and has a 3-minute CD. Void Tendrils roots enemies nearby the caster in place for 20 seconds, or until the tendrils are killed. This is a 30-second CD. Fiend fears enemies nearby for 30 seconds and has a 45-second CD. Spectral Guise causes you to leave your true self behind and be stealth while still in combat. It lasts 6 seconds or until you are attacked 3 times. Dominate Mind puts you in control of the enemy target for 30 seconds. Now, moving on to healing rotations. On an AoE healing fight, place Holy Word Sanctuary under the raid. It may need to be under the melee if the range are spread out. Divine Star on CD if you think enough damage is going out where it won't overheal too much. Same for circle healing. And prayer healing when there isn't anything else to cast. Prayer healing seems to be a filler heal now. You should also prayer mending on CD and renew the tanks to keep them alive. Guardian Spear is not assigned. Cast on someone before casting prayer mending and circle healing off that target for the 60% healing buff. Divine Hymn when the most raid damage is going out. On a single target healing fight, keep renew on your target as well as casting prayer mending on them on CD. Cast Holy Word Serenity for the crit buff, then Flash Heal for Serendipity stacks before greater healing on your target if it won't overheal. If your target is taking minor damage, you can just cast heal. Use Guardian Spirit if it looks like someone is going to die, or if you know that person will take a lot of damage soon. If you know Divine Hymn won't be needed for that fight, you can use it to give the tanks a minor healing ticket increase. And that was it. Thank you for watching my Holy Priest guide.